Meghan Markle is preparing for her first Kardashian-style reality TV show despite Hollywood brutally turning on her.
Here she is as they open up her hotel room in CSI New York. Harry must love that one.
There's a moment in everyone's life when the world seems to hit pause, as if waiting to see what you'll do next. And sometimes that moment arrives when you least expect it.
Hollywood executives saying, hell no.
Imagine stepping onto a set, not as a duchess, not as a headline, but simply as a woman returning to a craft she once loved, a craft that once felt like home.
She's accepted now that she needs the money and that her career is absolutely in the toilet.
Now, picture that home suddenly shifting beneath your feet. Because that's exactly what happened when Meghan Markle made her quiet, carefully considered return to act. A return that lasted less than 30 seconds on screen, yet somehow detonated into the kind of chaos no one could have scripted.
I'm so confused. The truth is that Meghan is a serial failure. Everything she touches turns to mud, which is why she has gone back to acting.
There was no royal fanfare, no dramatic build-up, just a simple cameo in a warm, charming film full of incredible actors. A small gesture of creativity, a nod to an old chapter.
She is going to be playing herself.
But who is Meghan Markle? Because we don't know who the real Meghan Markle is. Prince Harry doesn't know who the real Meghan Markle is.
Meghan Markle was just one of the working girls for Soho House. Call girl, working girl, escort, whatever you want to call it. That's what she was.
I think this is the perfect role for Meghan Markle.
A moment that should have been harmless, but the reaction, it was anything but simple. Whispers turned into chatter. Chatter turned into headlines. And what should have been a light, playful appearance became erased, deleted from the final cut after test audiences reacted with a level of intensity that stunned even industry insiders. Because sometimes the story isn't about the scene you film, it's about the one people decide you're not allowed to have. And this deletion, this tiny 30-second cameo wiped from existence, sparked a much bigger question. What does Hollywood really think of Meghan Markle? Now stay with me because the answer is far more revealing than the scene itself.
It's a screenplay built around two couples, one famous and one not. And it's my understanding that Meghan is playing a version of herself.
Stepping onto a film set carries a very particular energy, an unspoken rhythm of collaboration, curiosity, and quiet anticipation. But on the day Meghan arrived for her cameo, that rhythm shifted in subtle, unmistakable ways. Not in a dramatic or confrontational sense, but in the kind of cautious stillness that spreads when people aren't entirely sure what to expect. The cast was gracious, of course. Professionals always are. Smiles were exchanged, introductions made, and everyone moved with the practiced ease of actors who've done this dance 1,000 times before. Yet, there was also a visible distance, a sense of watching rather than welcoming, as if the room collectively took an extra beat to recalibrate.
This director, Jason Orley, will be living under a desk for the rest of his life. He'll just have to hear Meghan's voice going, "My husband!" and he'll just completely freak out.
Meghan reportedly approached the moment with thoughtfulness, offering ideas, clarifying intentions, exploring why her brief appearance mattered to the story. For many actors, that type of engagement is normal. But here, because she was essentially playing herself, it caught people off guard. A few crew members whispered. A few cast members kept their eyes lowered, and everyone seemed determined to stay in their own lane, careful not to step into anything that might become delicate. It wasn't tension. It wasn't hostility. It was restraint. A room full of talented people operating with diplomacy instead of enthusiasm. And when filming wrapped, something felt unfinished, like a conversation left unsaid. Because although the cameo was tiny, the silence that followed was massive. No posts, no shout-outs, not even a casual great working together. That quiet would speak louder than anything said on set.
Is she gonna be playing an entitled, spoiled ex-duchess who shanked her in-laws and ran away from the royal family? That would be true. That would be a really true and accurate portrayal of Meghan Markle.
Test screenings are usually quiet affairs, small rooms, dim lights, and audiences who scribble notes with the casual detachment of people sampling something that isn't quite finished yet. But during the early screenings of Close Personal Friends, something unexpected happened the moment Meghan's cameo appeared. Not outrage, not applause, something far more troubling for any studio immediate disconnect. According to people familiar with the feedback, the air shifted the second she stepped into frame. Viewers weren't confused about the story, nor did they question the scene's placement. They questioned her presence. The cards, collected afterward, captured the sentiment with blunt honesty. Why is she here? Feels distracting, breaks the mood. Comments that might seem small yet carry enormous weight in a room where every reaction is measured, catalogued, and analyzed. Executives watched the data come in with growing concern. Small dips in attention metrics, shifts in emotional tone track, sudden drops in engagement, all tied to that single moment. It wasn't personal, it was statistical. The numbers simply didn't support keeping the cameo.
Why not make money showing the downfall of your relationship, your marriage? You are now not very much together. It's great to show Harry and how he is so not happy at the moment.
In the industry, studios rarely panic. They adjust. They refrain. But this time, the adjustment was swift. Before the next screening cycle even began, the decision was already forming among key decision makers. The cameo wasn't enhancing the story. It was overshadowing it. And in Hollywood, anything that disrupts momentum becomes a liability. The surprising part, the real storm didn't erupt during the screening. It erupted the moment the studio responded. When a studio cuts a scene, it's usually because the pacing feels off or the joke doesn't land. But removing Meghan's cameo, that wasn't an edit. That was a surgical extraction. Swift, quiet, and done with the kind of precision usually reserved for fixing major plot holes, not 30-second walk-ons. According to industry chatter, the executives didn't even bother scheduling a long meeting about it. The feedback numbers came in, the eyebrows went up, and someone allegedly muttered something along the lines of, "Yeah, we're not keeping that." It was less debate and more instinct. Like watching a Jenga tower wobble and deciding immediately which block has to go. And here's where the roast writes itself. The studio reportedly realized it was safer to upset Meghan's PR team than risk irritating the general audience.
The only reason why Netflix has stayed in the game with Harry and Meghan is because they are anticipating that the couple will divorce, and Netflix want to be close to Meghan so they can have the exclusive and they can have Meghan My Story, which will be a 10-part awful documentary about her and her terrible life being married to Harry.
Imagine being deemed more dangerous than a bad trailer, a weak subplot, or a questionable CGI effect. That's not a cameo issue. That's a brand impact crisis. But the real punchline, executives seem to understand exactly what would happen if they left the scene in. Think headlines, think commentary, think internet chaos that could swallow an entire marketing campaign whole. They'd seen that movie before, and they weren't signing up for a sequel. So the cameo vanished, clean cut, no hesitation, no ceremony, just gone, like it had never existed. And yet somehow the deletion made more noise than the appearance ever could. But the loudest reaction wasn't from the studio. It was from Hollywood itself in the form of absolute silence.
See, there I am. It's all about me and my joy, because I swear I'm authentic. I'm a Californian. I love the Dodgers just like normal people, even though I'm firing, or at least losing, my 10th publicist right now, literally days earlier in the news, because I bully everyone.
If there's one thing Hollywood loves, it's pretending everyone is best friends. A 5-second cameo, you will get a behind-the-scenes selfie, a walk-by shot in the background. Expect the entire cast to post heart emojis. Someone's dog sneezes on set. Congratulations. There's a story in Variety. But after Meghan filmed her cameo, nothing. Not a whisper, not a blurry Instagram story from a crew member. Not even a pity alike. Industry observers noticed the blackout immediately. It wasn't subtle. It was Arctic. And in a town where actors will tag each other for breathing in the same hallway, the silence around Meghan stood out more loudly than any scandal. It looked less like people forgot and more like everyone suddenly discovered their phones were charging.
Let's go through some of the best of Meghan Markle's non-suits acting.
Hi.
How'd you feel about it?
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Even the Suits cast, who normally gush over each other like a group chat with unlimited data, stayed strangely quiet. The one exception was Wendell Pierce, who offered a polite, supportive comment in an interview. And while it was kind, it also highlighted the fact that no one else chimed in. One voice shouldn't feel like a spotlight, unless the room behind it is pitch black. The roasting part. Hollywood is a place where people will congratulate a toaster if it boosts their engagement. So when they collectively decide to go mute, it usually means one thing. They don't want the smoke. And the silence didn't just speak volumes, it echoed. Because if the cameo was tiny, the distance from the industry was massive.